My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. I feel like y'all staring at me. Thank you for the cash apps. Those of you who sent some cash apps, right? Thank you for those of you who are going to get the books. Thank you for the people who have joined the Patreon to get the classes and the material that's not on YouTube. Right? All right, so we had somebody send in some cash apps, a cash app, and they wanted me to speak about the kidneys. So, I'm just gonna go right to the books, right? So you guys can get this understanding. You got to get the books. Right, so we're gonna go right to the books. Like there's no other way for me to say that. What other book we might tap into? Right, we're gonna go right into these books. Yeah, we're gonna go into these books. Let me see. Something else. Yeah, there's stuff in the. There's always stuff in the gold book. Like, no matter what your question is, the answer is not even in the gold book. The answer is the gold book. Right? So we don't even need to pull out the gold book. The gold book is the gold standard. That's why even when you're looking from TV land, you see the gold book is shining. You see the gold book just shining in the shelf. Like, yeah. So there's that, right? Man, there's so many different books. Yeah, oh man, more than half of this book is based on kidney health. I mean, to be honest, almost all the books are talking about kidney health, just not necessarily directly always, right? Just not necessarily directly always. So we're probably going to stick in these 3 books. All right, so kitchen chemistry, right? Let's start with this book. Get myself some floor space here.
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe. They've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country and made it what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support. Peace and love, y'all.
All right, I want y'all to do two things. Most of y'all done fell off and started slipping. Most of y'all done started slipping in terms of your Blue Magic Heart Challenge. So I want to see people still posting their push-ups. Hashtag Blue Magic Heart Challenge, right? Spelled EU, not UE. So that's not a typo. I know if you read my books, you used to seeing enough typos that you believe that might be that's not a typo. Okay, don't judge me. That's not a typo. Okay, it's BLEU, right? Blue Magic Heart Challenge. We need to see that going up on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on whatever you on. Start posting your push-ups. Whatever social medias you got, I need those to go up. Right? And then for those of you that have the new books, right? For those of you that have the new books, specifically the orthorexia book, right? And you understand what the orthorexia book and the autodidact book, right? If you have those two books, I'm gonna need you to start posting your food and posting hashtag Green Man Challenge. Right? I want to see those posts on social media platforms. Every social media platform. Even if you got to put the same post on multiple joints. You don't have to do, like, if you film yourself doing your push-ups, you don't have to film yourself doing push-ups 3 separate times for, however many. No, put that same video from Instagram on your Facebook, on your TikTok, on your Twitter, right? We want to see that on Twitter. Start loading up Twitter. Start loading up all these other platforms, and start loading up these other platforms with your Green Man Challenge as well, right? Because this conversation is going to circle back around to that Green Man Challenge, right? So I guess we should probably start right out with food. Right? We've been in our food bag lately, so we might as well start out with food. So let me say this. Now, if you have this book, you already know where I'm at. I'm in the chat. There's a kidney chapter. There's a kidney chapter in this book, right? So we in that chapter. We're gonna jump around a little bit in that chapter, right? We're gonna jump around a little bit in that chapter. And the reason that there is a kidney chapter, the reason why a kidney chapter even exists is, one, your kidney is the primary chemist in your body, right? The primary chemist in your body. And I guess maybe it's a pet peeve of mine. If you've been watching me for long enough, you know I have a bunch of those, right? You know by now I have a bunch of pet peeves, right? But and you know the biggest one is people talking about stuff and don't fully know what they talk about, right? Got it. Well, the biggest area of misinformation, one of anyway, is pH, right? pH. So in this book, we talk about some early ideas of pH. Osiris, diabetes, and respiration. Right? We talk about some early ideas of pH and some very contemporary strategies to control your pH, right? And also just how it affects your respiration and some of those things. Get that dog off the sidewalk. But when we're talking about pH, the biggest part of that conversation that gets left out is that the kidney has to do all of the work, right? The kidney has to do all of the work. So the kidney, and that's why I was looking at possibly pulling out the lymphatic immunity book. But the lymphatic immunity book is such a world in and of itself. This book will take over the conversation and then we won't be going into any other books. This book is a world unto itself, right? But the kidney is a part of the circulatory system and it's a major player in the lymphatic system, even though it doesn't always get credited as being a major player in the lymphatic system, right? So we've got to really become aware of this because once again, you know, the people with the dominant genes, right? The people with dominant genes, we are at the top of the list when it comes to people getting dialysis treatments, right? And so while at the same time we have all these guys on the internet selling health products, you know, we haven't really been able to change the statistics. See, that's what I'm interested in doing. That's a separating thing. I want y'all to understand that. When these guys see these statistics, they think of ways to capitalize off of the statistic. Ooh, look at all these folks. I can sell them. My thing is, how the hell do we change that statistic? Because I have a lot of children, right? So maybe that might be one of the, it's probably the way my father raised me. My father raised me family centric, you know, family first. You know what I'm saying? You know how 50 Cent came with the get rich or die trying. my father gave me the raise your kids or die trying. Like that was the that was the mark of a man, how I was raised. It wasn't how much money you can make, because money comes and goes, and money was around, and so that wasn't it. It was about pouring your time into your babies. You know what I'm saying? So because I am a father, I got two sets of five. I got two star, I got a starting five and a five off the bench, right? I realize in a way that maybe many other people do not, that my babies are going to grow up, and if I don't create the genetic, or the generational health, if I don't pass them down generational health, they will become a part of all these statistics. They will become a part of all these statistics, right? These are just facts, right? So your sons, your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, any adopted children from, if you've officially adopted children, or maybe you're just, an OG or a neighborhood dad or a neighborhood mom, where you kind of adopted some kids around the neighborhood that you're pouring into. Just know you need to know this, because they get ready to become a part of these statistics. And being one of the kids born myself in the 70s, living through the 80s and the 90s, the saying, don't become a statistic, right? Don't become a statistic. That was a big thing. Don't become a statistic, right? Peace and blessings out there to everybody. My name is Dr. EnQi, the founder of the Melanin versus Diabetes movement and ministry. Our goal is to fight diabetes by creating a biochemically literate society, one book at a time, one person at a time, one household at a time. Join us now by going to Amazon.com and getting all of the books, getting all of the books that you can afford, even if you can't read them all. Share them with family, share them with loved ones. Let's begin the study. And if you need tutoring sessions are available at AmericanHealer.website. I can give you one-on-one tutoring through these books. Let's build a biochemically literate society, one person at a time. Thanks in advance.
It ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, you heard?
Faith and love, love and faith, faith and love, love.
So I think that we kind of got it twisted with statistics, right? And when I'm saying that, what I mean is, we got this thing where we, and don't get me wrong, it's a good message to promote, right? Don't become a statistic, right? Don't become a statistic, right? So when we say that to the young girls, what are we saying? Don't become a statistic, right? From that era, don't become a statistic was, don't become a teenage mom, right? Don't become a teenage mom. Finish school. Don't wind up on a pole or depending on a man for money. Like that's don't become a statistic, right? When we're saying that to young men in the community, don't become a statistic. What are we talking about? Don't get shot. Don't go to jail, right? Don't get killed. Don't kill anyone. Yo, respectfully, the bar is way too low. We're not putting enough. Some of y'all at home, y'all thinking we putting too much pressure on these kids. We're not putting enough pressure on these kids. To tell young men that their standard for success as a young man is to not get killed and not kill anyone is like damn near the same as no expectation. No, like that's not it, right? Because we got a mental illness crisis going on, right? We got a mental illness crisis going on. We have a metabolic health crisis going on. We have a cardiovascular disease crisis going on. We have a reproductive crisis going on that nobody's discussing in the media because it is financially, it's a gold mine. Financially, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine for experimental drugs. It's a gold mine for big money, for the drugs that have proven to work. It's a gold mine. Implanted babies, IVF, you name it. It's a gold mine. So we won't discuss this problem. Nor will we pump any money into finding out long-term what's up with these kids, you know, that come from machines and not necessarily people, or that come from test tubes and not necessarily come from people, right? So we having all kind of health crises where that's the message we need to start getting to, right? We need to get rid of the birds and the bees, start talking about the atoms and the genes. And when we talking to these kids, hey, don't become a statistic. What we need to be saying is, don't become a statistic, young lady, where by the time you're 30 years old, your vagina is filled with lumps and cysts and fibroids and tumors and all that. And you can't bring no babies into this world. Don't become a statistic, young man. You know, by the time you have a son and maybe you turn 40, 45 years old, well, you're not even in good enough condition to go play basketball with your son because you're going to die out there. Right? That's crazy. That's heartbreaking. But what's more heartbreaking than that? When you go out there to play basketball with your son, you 50, your son is 30, and your son dropped dead. That's the statistics that's the statistics that we need to start focusing on. We have to focus on generational health now. We got to focus on those statistics. So hearing so much people talk about pH and this and that and the other, and not really understanding what they're talking about. They just know that it's really marketable and trendy. I said, okay, we need to throw this, you know, we need to throw this kidney chapter. We need to double back. We need to double back and discuss some kidney stuff, right? Just some basics so we can, right? And then people can get the books, right? They can get the books if they really want to learn. But at least we'll put out some for the people so they know, hey, you might want to grab this information. If you need this information, you might want to grab this information. Yo, I believe I done really started something. This is crazy. It never fails. When I was on 160, when I was on 150, when I lived in 158th Street in the Bronx, it was a track on 161st Street, right? Down in Jerome, before they messed up the whole everything with the new Yankee Stadium. And there was a track down there. And between the stick-up kids and the junkies, and you know, people was kind of scared to go down to the tracks. You know what I'm saying? But we started going down there running, and before long, you know, other young people our age start coming out to run. As time went on, older people started to see us and feel more comfortable, and they started to come. The track got popping. You know, I didn't think nothing of it, because I was following somebody else's lead. You know, I was following my uncle lead. You know what I'm saying, man? He rests in greatness, but he was telling me, you need to do butt kicks, right? He was like, yo, you need to do butt kicks on the track. I was like, like I'm a kid at the time, so this shit sounds super crazy. Like even before we invented the pause game, like this was crazy. Like butt kicks? What do you mean butt kicks? He was like, yeah, you're gonna use your heel of your foot to hit, your left heel. You're gonna bring that up to your left butt cheek, and you're gonna go around the whole track like that one time, as many times as you can, and just, that's gonna be a workout. So, but anyway, long story short, I didn't think nothing of it. Later on in life, when I moved up to Gun Hill Road, they had Oval Park, same situation. It's the neighborhood, drugs in the park, shooting, all kind of shit going on in the park. People didn't, nobody was running on the track, you know what I'm saying? So I started going out there with my gallons of water, putting on a garbage bag, old school garbage bag, cut 3 holes in it, 1 for your head, 2 for your arm, 1 for each arm, 1 for your, garbage bag. People saw me losing weight, I was going from like 1 pull-up. I was kind of fat, I was like 260 pounds. I was kind of fat, you know what I'm saying? So I was struggling to do 1. I'm doing mad struggling and growling and shit like a grizzly bear, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not even, my 1 pull-up wasn't even a full, like I wasn't even getting my chin or my face to the bar. None of that. The bar was still like, I was grabbing the bar. That was a pull-up. But I told myself, what I'm going to do is every time I go around the track, I'm going to do me a half pull-up. And I'm going to count them as half pull-ups. So by the time I leave this track, I'm going to trick myself because I want to feel like I did 10 pull-ups. So now I'm not going to count the trips around the track. I'm not even counting those. That's my break time. Like you doing a set of whatever exercise, and in between your exercises, you take like a rest. So I'm just looking at my time around the track as the rest. So I do a little half a pull-up, and then go around the track. That's my rest. Come back, do another one. 20 of them little fake half, 3/4 pull-ups. As far as I was concerned, I did 10 pull-ups. You know what I'm saying? I was going back to the house proud. I drank a gallon of water, did me 10 pull-ups. You can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? But as I started to lose the weight, them joints turned into full pull-ups. 2, 3 pull-ups, 5 pull-ups. At that point, I'm listening to, Eye of the Tiger. I'm listening to all kind of shit. I'm pumped. I'm listening to Jay-Z, Young, Forever Young. I'm listening to all kind of, I can't do shit but 5 pull-ups. And I can't even do 5 pull-ups mad times. That first set of pull-ups, I'm going to do 5. After that, we're going to be back down to about 2 or 3. But I kept going with it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know, but people was watching. I didn't really notice people was watching until I started seeing mad different people coming out with their garbage bags on. I was like, oh shit, this is a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers coming out with their garbage bags with their gallon of water. They coming out in they EnQi uniform type shit, So I realized, we're recruiting people all the time. We're recruiting people all the time. All the time, we're using our personal magnetism to recruit people, right? I watched a clip from Queen's Flip. I should add their name to the title of this video. I watched a clip from Queen's Flip and Sauce Walker. I want to make sure I'm saying his name correctly. Sauce Walker. He's a rapper from Texas. Right? Now, being in Georgia and meeting people, you know, I met some grimy, dirty niggas from Texas. You know, I guess that's all that's in Texas is grimy, dirty niggas. You know what I'm saying? But they was with the lean, they was with the slow down music. So I get that lean and slow down music, you know, that's part of Texas street culture, right? So I get that part. But it just killed me that Queens Flip and Sauce Walker was doing a paint and sip video. I mean, yeah, paint and sip video is where you go like to these little places, you know, and you there for like 90 minutes or whatever, and you're following a painter and he's showing you how to paint step by step so you can leave out of there with a nice little painting that you did yourself. You know what I'm saying? And they have a little wine or whatever so you can sip while you paint. And most times you go there with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know, like it's a couples thing, right? But anyway, a part of, you know, the clip that I was forwarded, you know, people forward me these clips. The clip I was forwarded was Queens Flip and Sauce Walker debating whether it was okay or not for people to use lean. And Sauce, I just was in amazement that Sauce Walker was literally debating that it's okay to use lean. And Queens Flip was, it looked like he was surprised too, because he was like, yo, I can't believe you trying to explain to the people right now that it's okay to use lean. And Sauce Walker was like, yeah, because it is okay to use lean. People in lean ain't never killed nobody. They ain't never hurt themselves. They ain't never did it. Ain't nobody ever died from it. I'm like, huh? Where the hell he get this information from? All that's incorrect information. There's plenty of people that done killed and got killed on lean, for lean. It's plenty of people that done lost their ability to maintain their daily ins and outs because of heroin opioid addiction. And that's the thing that we gotta like, them type of voices, those are dangerous voices. Because he has a lot of people that follow him. And when they watch that video on Queens Flip channel, they're going to see him. And that's going to promote usage of opioids to thousands of kids. Thousands of kids. And when I say kids, I mean 17, 15, 22, 25. People that's on the fence. People that's on the fence, people that are thinking, I was thinking about doing it, but nah, I ain't gonna fuck around with it. They're gonna watch that and listen to him say, all you gotta do is go to the gym and wash that out your system. All I do is do a couple push-ups and that's, I'm good. That ain't nothing. Huh? You can't flush no opioid. Like, that's not how that go. So I'm just saying, y'all know how I have my tantrums. Y'all know how I go on my rants. I'm just saying that shit was crazy. So if you out there and you watching this video and you know Queens Flip or you know Sauce Walker, forward them this video and tell them dumbass niggas, right? Come on the platform. I would love to have Sauce Walker on the platform to have the conversation with him that him and Queens Flip had. Because Queens Flip is pretty. Queens Flip is ignorant. He's a lot smarter than he pretends to be, but overall, Queens Flip is ignorant. Right? And he'll do almost anything for the content. So even if he knows better than to broadcast that message, as far as he's concerned, it's good content, right? It's good content. It'll start controversy. to hell with all the kids that's going, to hell with all the young impressionable minds that's going to grab that and go, yeah, Sauce Walker's a self-made millionaire, and he became a self-made millionaire using lean. So yeah, no, no, right? Let's talk about the guy that, DJ Screw, or what's the white kid name, Mac Miller, or let's talk about, I just couldn't understand the conversation. Like, that shit was crazy to me, listening to that conversation. But that's why we exist, right? That's why we doing our thing over here. We doing what we do to counteract a lot of this crazy stuff. So anyway, back to pH, right? And food, and how food interact with pH and blah, blah, blah. Right? Do we need a commercial break? Maybe we need a commercial break. We might need a commercial break.
The world knew New York as Muslims, as gods. When I was growing up, we had knowledge of self. I was a god body. I'm still acknowledging myself as that. I had knowledge of self. New York, we need to get back to being civilized. This gang shit, the blood, the crip. Let's go back to
ourselves.
The seasons, nigga.
Back to the
Let's go back to being civilized.
Okay. So when we eat food, regardless to what that food is, right? Regardless to what that food is, our stomach is going to turn that whole program into acid, right? That's what digests and breaks food down in our stomach, right? We have acid pumps to make sure that we pump enough acids into the stomach to break down the food. After that, the pancreas kicks in, and the pancreas has to pump a whole bunch of alkalizing juices and enzymes to reverse the acidification of those foods before the food can continue to be digested and processed for the blood, right? And for the rest of the body. With that being said, once you get down to the monomers and molecules that your food is composed of, after your food goes through these breaking down processes, right? You're going to have, it's going into the blood, right? Everything in the blood goes to the kidney, right? The kidney is the master chemist in your body. The liver, if you use the chemist analogy for the liver, you're still correct, but the liver is more of a laboratory than a chemist, right? It's really the kidney that's the chemist, right? And so this is what the actual numbers are when it comes down to the food. So a part of this can even, see, I done got passionate, lost my page. 100, page 182. All right, page 182. All right. And right now we're going to jump to page 185. Now, a lot of this can even be a part of the protein conversation, right? A lot of this can be a part of the protein conversation. Now, your scale, I'm going to put this small over here. The scale goes 1 to 14, with 7 being ma'at, right? That's the preferred radio station, right? 7.365 WKRP in Cincinnati. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. Who remember that TV show? Right? So from a 1 to a 6, acid, from an 8 to 14 is the alkaline scale. Now, positive numbers are acid. Negative numbers are alkaline. Right? Let's take a look at these numbers. Right? Here's fish. Here's pork. Here's chicken. Right? I know y'all love fish. Fish is the number one thing folks love to say when they talk about eating meat. Oh, no. You know, I don't eat no pork. I eat fish. Shit, you might have should have ate some pork. Right? Cheese, beef, eggs. I guess we just gonna, instead of putting milk, we're just gonna do dairy. Then we're gonna go bread. Okay, you can still see bread at the bottom right there. That's good. Then we're gonna come over here. Rice. Pasta. Right? Then we're gonna go beans. Then we're gonna go fruit. And then we're gonna go veggies. And matter of fact, I'm gonna put veggies as veggies. Yo, I'm gonna put veggies as veggies because a lot of you niggas believe that when you have a veggie burger, and I know this from conversation, because I've had conversations with you niggas. I know you believe, like y'all, because y'all going to the freezer department. This is how they pimping you. You going into the freezer department, right? And you looking at all the veggie burgers. Now, y'all don't realize that most of these companies, they seen you coming from a mile away. Right? When you talk about gullible niggas that you able to get over on, that's what they say back in the days. You know, before they run a con on you, you know, they say they seen you coming from a mile away. They seen you coming from a mile away. So they know that your wallet is wide open for anything alkaline, anything vegan, you know. So when they sell you these boxes of burgers with it's only 2 frozen burgers in there for $8, they seen you coming from a mile away. They're gonna tell you, oh, this burger got, you know, ground cabbage or, you know, ground Japanese beans or, you know, anything that sounds exotic, and you in, and you believe that this ground up veggie that's inside the burger is the same quality as if you actually had some cabbage. Like because your veggie burger says it's made out of beans and kale, you believe that you're getting the same level of nutrition as if you had a plate of fresh beans and kale. Like, that's the reality cannot be furthest from the truth. So I'm going to put veggies as veggies so that you niggas don't mistake when I say veggies here for veggies disguised as chicken, or veggies disguised as burgers, or veggies disguised as macaroni and cheese. Like, I want you to be totally unconfused. These are veggies as veggies, okay? The veggies are not cosplaying. Listen, the veggies are not cosplaying as another sort of thing. The veggies are veggies, okay? So here's what happens in your kidneys, right? This is going by the number. This is what actually is happening in your kidneys, right? So the fish, when they did the test, the fish was the worst. The fish was the worst. The fish was the worst. The fish produced the most acidic effect in your kidneys. Worse than pork, worse than chicken, worse than cheese, worse than beef, worse than eggs, worse than dairy. This list is in order. The list is in order. This is how these things were scored based on the acidic effect. Right? This is the impact on these foods on your kidney. All of these foods here are acid producing inside your kidneys. Right? These are all acid producing. Rice is almost negligible. Rice is a 0.5, a 0.56 to be exact. Right? So rice is less than 1, is almost neutral. Right here it would be neutral. Right? Pasta is where you get to the alkalizing side. Yes, pasta. Pasta is where you get to the alkalizing side. Pasta does not produce acid in your kidneys. Right? This is why some of the most long-lived countries in the world, where you have blue zones, people that normally live to 80, 90, 100 years old, a lot of those places, they eat a lot of noodles. That's why ramen became popular. Ramen noodles became popular because the cultures that they came from, those people were very long-lived. So now the ramen noodle pack that we get in the store is obviously, I mean, that's obviously, come on. We know ramen noodles from the supermarket is terrible. That's a junk food, right? So I'm not saying ramen noodles themselves are good. I'm saying the original right, before it became a commercially, mass-produced packet of inexpensive food for college kids and poor folks, right? The people that originally had noodles as part of their culture, these people lived for a long time, right? Then from there you go to beans. Beans are not acidic at all in the kidneys. Beans are very alkalizing because beans, now look, remember we had this conversation the other day, right? Remember we talked about the orthorexia book. Remember in the orthorexia book, I said we have to rewrite the idea of what a complete protein is. Remember? I said we got to change that idea of what complete protein is, because if we start factoring in all the new information we have, we'll change our eye. Now look at this. If we factor this in, the protein content in beans, when we digest that, it produces an alkalizing effect in our kidneys. Fish is considered a complete protein. Pork, chicken, cheese, beef, eggs, all these things are considered complete proteins. Pound for pound, eggs is considered the best protein on earth, right next to algae. Eggs and algae are rated the highest scoring complete proteins on earth. But eggs, like the rest of these animal products, are all acid forming in the kidney. Right? Beans are not. And beans are complete proteins. So once again, let this be another piece of information. This is why I said Dr. EnQi is the pulse of the culture. Don't get it twisted. We lead the pack in research, and once we say it, it becomes the law. Everybody else will start saying it a few weeks, few months later on. All the white channels, all the black channels. After we put it out, they're going to copy it. These are just facts, right? And then when we get to veggies as veggies, check this out. 9.9, right? Look at them numbers, sick. The sublime mathematics of diabetic arithmetic. When we get to veggies as veggies, please don't be judging my food combination. Some people is like, bro, how is you eating blueberries and then you drinking green tea with that crazy colorful sea moss of yours? I'm damn near 50 years old. Right? I'm going to get my enjoyment, my pleasure a different kind of way. Right? So if in your mind, you're trying to get the pleasure from food, me and you got different understanding. My pleasure from food comes what food allows me to do. The fact that I'm almost 50, I wake up every morning with a super hard penis, that I get pleasure from that. The fact that I'm almost 50 and I can beat my kids in a race, because we racers. The fact that I could still run, like I could run. My fastest run, like as fast as my mind want to run, I can run. Like I can run. People at 35, they talking about they knee hurt. My ankles, the way, how Kevin Hart said the way my checking account set up. Ask some of these niggas to get athletic. They like, the way my knee is set up, the way my hips, because I got this back, they start running through the list of shit, because see, I got this back pain and in my lower back because I was working at the factory in the plant, and because I was lifting these boxes. All right. But how was your food? Your food was delicious. Your food was delicious. Okay, all right, well, there you go. My drink might not be considered to be delicious. But see, I'm going to get the pleasure. I'm going to get that dopamine from the things what I'm drinking allow me to do, as opposed to not being able to do anything, but getting the dopamine hit from the drink. So you're going to get you a tea and fill it up with milk and sugar and syrup and agave, because, agave is on Sabi list and all kind of other shit. You's looking to get that dopamine blast from your drink. I'm cool. I'm gonna get the dopamine blast from what my drink allows me to do. Yeah, you think about that, right? So anyway, now this right here is a whole. This right here, this is a whole course right here. You can run a whole curriculum off of this. Right? You can run a whole curriculum off this. This is just one page in the book, though. Yo, these books be nutrient dense. Somebody said, yo, but EnQi, your books be like $25. Some of them books like $30. Bro, that's expensive. I'm like, see, you confused. Niggas go spend $20 on lunch every day and don't think twice about it. $20 regular price for lunch. A bag of weed is $20. Niggas go get a bag of weed every day, $20. Niggas go to dinner, shit, you go to dinner, you spend $50, $100. It's two people at dinner, you spend $100. And that's a light. That ain't even expensive. That ain't even crazy. You go to a club, shit, you might spend $500 on liquor. People smoke cigarettes, they spend $20 on cigarettes with no problem. People smoke weed, spend $100, $200 a month just on wraps, blunt wraps, cigars, and all that, backwoods. But a $20 book is expensive. You niggas out of your mind. You buy $200 sneakers, say a $25 book expensive. You are out of your mind. That is the problem right there. That priority scale. Yo, I don't have the time to sit down and read a book. Okay, you don't have the time to sit down and read a book, but the book is going to provide you with what my man AZ said, with the proper insight that got us, even though we know somehow we all got to go. Listen, the book is going to give you the information you need to go. It's going to give you the information you need to be more productive. It's going to give you the information that you need to allow you to chase your dream, your bag, your passion, your kids, your lady, your husband. Like, it's going to give you what you need to go. Not having this information, you're going to run, but you're trading time for life. So the things you're doing, you're losing life daily. So at some point, you're going to have to sit down. Like, you're going to have to sit down. And at that point, it's going to be much harder to fix yourself than if you would, because what they say, an ounce of cure is worth a pound. No, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Something like that. Yeah. But that's what holistic is. That's what naturopathic is. Prevention, right? That's what our goal is. My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. Peace and blessings out there to everybody. My name is Dr. EnQi, the founder of the Melanin versus Diabetes movement and ministry. Our goal is to fight diabetes by creating a biochemically literate society, one book at a time, one person at a time, one household at a time. Join us now by going to Amazon.com and getting all of the books, getting all of the books that you can afford, even if you can't read them all. Share them with family, share them with loved ones. Let's begin the study. And if you need tutoring sessions are available at AmericanHealer.website. I can give you one-on-one tutoring through these books. Let's build a biochemically literate society, one person at a time. Thanks in advance. All right, so right now, right, so far we're still in this book. What else I want to talk about? Phosphorus. I don't know. Phosphorus, we might have to do that like a whole nother day. Phosphorus might have to be another day. Because when you got kidney issues, the main thing the doctor's going to tell you two things. Like they're going to always say, watch the protein. Like this is literally, you just had the numbers there. That's why the doctors tell you when you have any kind of kidney issues to lower your protein intake. That's not plant sources. When I say plants, remember, I'm talking about plants as plants. I'm not talking about beans disguised as chicken and burgers. I'm talking about beans as beans. Not beans that came out the can, but beans that come out the bag that you got to boil for an hour or 2 hours, like real beans, right? Seasoned properly, right? Not loaded up, seasoned up with a bunch of salt, right? We don't put no salt in our beans. We eat beans all the time. We don't use salt. The salt's not going in the beans, right? We don't use none of them fake MSG companies. We don't use none of them MSG products, right? So there's not going to be no, adobo, Sazun, right? None of them little packets. We ain't putting none of that shit in our food at all, let alone in the beans. We're not putting none of the conscious niggas MSG. You know, conscious niggas got their own MSG products. They think it's different. So they're using Bragg's liquid amino acids and no, these is not Bragg's. These is coconut liquid amino acids. Nigga, that's MSG. I don't care. You could call it how you want to call it. Have powder, have liquid. That's MSG. None of that's going in the food. Right? Season it up with things that also supports the chemistry, right? If you get the grocery shopping list, then you'll have them things. It's because it's in there, right? It's in the grocery shopping list. So you're good. You'll know what to put in there, but don't put none of the MSG shit, none of that in there, right? Season it up with other things that complements the health, right? Complements the health. Actually, let's do it. Let's touch on the phosphorus a little bit. Right? Let's touch on the phosphorus a little bit. So we're gonna go into this book. Right? We're gonna go into this book, The God is Music Electrician Workbook. Right? This is the one and only electrician workbook. Right? And one of the things we talk about in this book is the kidneys. Right? So here's the main thing that you need to know about phosphorus, right? Because a lot of people, they wind up on dialysis. I'm not sure if it's so much now because I'm less hands-on, but I know in my early days, like damn near everybody that I was talking to that was dealing with dialysis was a soda drinker. They was into a lot of soda, and so the doctors told them you got to cut down on the soda, right? You got to cut down on the phosphorus. The problem is, though, the phosphorus is also in the meat products. There's 11 different types of phosphorus powder that they use in meat to condition and preserve the meats. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's a difference in phosphoruses. Like phosphorus comes packaged in a lot of different ways, right? So plants, right? The way the phosphorus is packaged hits the body way different than these synthetic phosphorus chemicals that they add as preservatives to junk food. What are they called? Sodas? Soft drinks, right? Soft drinks, junk food, meat, all that kind of stuff, right? So here's the relationship. Here's the relationship, right? And this is all chemistry. This is all chemistry. This is all chemistry. And this actually, this is a part of this is for high blood pressure folks also. Right? Because high blood pressure people, they gotta watch their sodium. Right? They gotta watch their sodium. So the way we do this is we divide this into 4. Right? We divide this into 4 and we make it simple. Right? So we make it simple. Let me come on this side so I don't block the light. Right? When you flood your body with a lot of calcium and magnesium, you have to be careful because it's going to flush sodium and potassium and phosphorus. Right? So just understanding this can help you with a lot of different situations that you may be going through. Right? Just understanding this little small bit of chemistry right here. Right? Because where are we going to get? Right? Right? Anywhere with a lot of chlorophyll, you know, it's a lot of magnesium in there. Right? Any food with a lot of chlorophyll, a lot of magnesium. So if you have a situation where you have too much phosphorus, greens to the rescue. Greens to the rescue. Let's get those phosphorus levels down. Right? Let's get those phosphorus levels down. Right? If you're in a situation where you got high sodium, right? Some folks dealing with salt sensitive hypertension, high blood pressure, all that, right? Let's get those greens in. Let's lower them sodium levels, right? On the flip side, if we change these, if we change the 2 on the bottom, we change the 2 on the top, right? It's just that simple. Now they got medications and all that do the same thing, right? So you got calcium blockers and all kind of stuff people get for prescription. But just knowing what happens with the food, right? So if you load up on sodium and potassium and phosphorus, then that's going to cause your body to flush some calcium and some magnesium. right? Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. Now, why is this important? I'm gonna tell you why. It's important because if we go back to the kitchen chemistry book, right? If we go back to the kitchen chemistry book, now this is not in the kitchen chemistry book. That's in the electrician workbook, right? But if you go back to the kitchen chemistry book tells you the kidneys receive blood from the renal arteries. The kidneys are attached to the ureter. It carries urine to the bladder. The kidneys have to convert vitamin D to its active form. The kidneys have to produce erythropoietin, right? Erythropoietin, I might be butchering that. We say EPO for short. EPO is the steroid hormone that the kidneys produce that tells your bone marrow to produce blood all day. So every second, your body's producing blood. It's producing that blood because every second, your kidney is sending signals to the bone marrow to tell the bone marrow exactly how much blood to produce. This is why if the kidneys go, you're dead. If the kidneys go, you're gone, just like that. Because you need that blood production every second. You don't get that blood production if the kidneys don't send the signal. Right? Not only that, the kidneys have to produce renin to regulate the pressure in your body fluids, especially in the circulatory system, right? So people that have high blood pressure, they know renin and, you know, angiotensin and blah, 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 right? So having a balance in these minerals, right? These mineral elements, having the right balance is what allows your kidney to continuously do what it needs to do. Now, none of these right here are a part of, like, this is not the substrate for vitamin D. Your body produces vitamin D, or at least the vitamin D precursor, from cholesterol and UVB light. But if you don't have this balance of chemistry, then your kidney will not be able to convert pre-vitamin D to active vitamin D. Right? If you don't have this balance of chemistry, right? And I'm not saying, you know, let me remove the arrows while I'm speaking, right? But if you don't have balance between these 5 mineral elements, your kidney is not able to do its jobs, right? Your kidney's not able to do its jobs, right? And we didn't even get to the 1 million. Listen, your kidney has 1 million little tiny filters that's working. That's called nephron, right? Those nephron cleans the blood and does all of the little meticulous work. You got over 1 million of them. If you don't have this, this is just 5 mineral elements. This ain't getting incredibly deep. This is just 5, right? This is 5. Right? Now we know we can put this in citrus. Like if we wanted to translate this to the language of food, right? We can put this in citrus. We can put this in fruits, right? Like bananas, coconut stuff. This right here go with the greens, because see, these two guys are partners, right? These two guys are partners, right? That's Tango and Cash. They work together. Tango and Cash right here. Tango, Cash. They work together. So you're going to find them everywhere together, right? This is the one that contracts the muscle. This is the one that relaxes your muscle, right? And keep in mind, your heart is a muscle, and inside your heart, they still doing the same thing. That's why magnesium has such a powerful effect on heart health, right? It's just the same thing. Same job. You know what I'm saying? Same job. It's the mom, right? Mom, milk of magnesium, mom, right? Magnesium's the nurturing, relax, calm down. Calcium is dad. Calcium is coming in to electrify shit, get shit hype. Male principle, female principle. Nature, nurture, right? Binary, right? Male, female, right? You have that relation all the time, right? You have that binary coding all the time. This is what says go. This is the go for beta cells. Think about how important calcium is to your beta cells, right? A lot of diabetics, right? They're not having enough greens because the greens going to come in with. Anyway. My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin-Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. So now on page 174, right? In the food chemistry book, right? The Constitution, right? On page 174 in the Constitution, we talk about kidney stones, right? We talk about kidney stones. These are there. This is the first part of the cheat code, right? The cheat code that you need to look at, right? Because magnesium, documented, tested, proven to help prevent what? Calcium stones. Calcium is one of the types of stones that we create in our body, right? So when you hear people talking about oxalates and all those things, it's more about remembering the chemistry. Everything is a substrate, everything is a reactant, and everything needs something so it could be transformed into something else. So if you're loading up on calcium stuff, but you're not getting the magnesium to go with it, right? Because you're not eating vegetables for calcium. You're having fortified foods like cheese and milks and stuff like that, where you can get a lot of calcium without the magnesium to go with it, right? You're not going to do that in some leafy green. In some greens, you're going to get the calcium and the magnesium, right? But when you start messing with these foods where the nutrition is injected into the food is fortified, it may not be balanced, right? It may not be really, really balanced. And this is the importance to understand when we in the autodidact book, right? That's the newest book that's out, the autodidact book. At least the newest book in terms of the Comedic Science series, right? Because now we started the Generational Health series. That book is out also. But when we talk about new conditions like ferroptosis or inflammation, or we talk about new cells, right? They done discovered, now check this shit out. They done discovered a new type of cell called the fasciocyte. Yo, listen, they got a new cell called the fasciocyte. These are fascia cells. Listen, when I tell y'all we running laps around niggas, we so far ahead that we coming up behind niggas. It look like, listen, if you ain't been watching this race we've been running from the beginning, and you got your ticket to the sprint, you got the ticket to the race, and instead of going take your ass right to the seat, you done went to the concession stand and bought t-shirts and frankfurters and popcorn and all kind of shit, and you getting down to the stands late. You may think that we not in the lead. You may believe that we behind everybody. You think we behind. You looking at these other platforms and shit. You think we behind. You're like, oh man, look at these, look at these views. These niggas way ahead of what they talk about, because look at them views and compared to these views, or look at these subs compared to these subs. I had over 10 million views on YouTube by the time 2015 came around. I just lose channels, That's a byproduct of telling people the truth, speaking truth to power, every so often they're going to sweep the legs from under your table. You know what I'm saying? But if you're looking at the race late, you might be thinking, oh, we in the back. You just confused. You missed the beginning. You haven't seen how this race actually running. We done lapped niggas 2-3 times. So we might look like we running behind, but we done lapped niggas a few times. So you got to go to the score sheet. You got to check the score sheet to see who's who and what's what. You ain't go, oh, wait, damn, EnQi wrote 100 books on this shit? Oh. Yeah. We in matrix speed. We look like we moving. We going so fast. We like we in slow motion. Right? So my point is this. We talked about they just discovered 3,000 new brain cells, right? Types of neurons. They just discovered, new fascia cells, fasciocytes. They just discovered new conditions of ferroptosis and inflammation. They just discovered new enzymes that convert electricity into, so they discover all these enzymes and cells and conditions and all this shit within the last 5 years, right? So when you go see like a box of cereal, right? A box of cereal, they say it's been fortified with vitamins and minerals, right? So if we assume that those vitamins and minerals in that box of Frosty Flakes, let's say Frosty Flakes, for example. If we was to assume that those vitamins and minerals are the same as the vitamins and minerals that you would get in some kale or spinach or mustard greens or whatever, right? Let's assume that they're the same, just for argument's sake. Well, the daily recommended dosage of those nutritions, right? When they say it's a balanced, it's balanced for whatever you're supposed, you got to ask yourself. See, y'all niggas ain't putting 2 + 2 together. See, I got to keep putting 2 and 2 together for y'all to come up with 4. That's because y'all ain't on y'all trivium and quadrivium shit. Y'all rhetoric, logic, this arithmetic, y'all shit ain't together. Y'all got to get to y'all trivium and quadrivium, Y'all been Scooby-Dooed away from the real science your ancestors developed. The niggas that built pyramids was Masons. I don't know what y'all are doing out here listening to these boogeyman stories. Let me put 2 and 2 together for you so you can get 4, right? Let me get 2 and 2 to make 4 for you. If they gave you a base, this is how much vitamins you need, right? But then they discovered new cells in the heart, right? Because they just discovered that there's melanocytes is in the heart. They just discovered 3,000 new cells in the brain. They just types of cells in the brain. That's not how many individuals it is. That's 3,000 new types in the brain. Fascia cells, this one, that one, all the way. Well, obviously that complete nutrition, that don't include none of the new cells they just discovered. That don't include none of that shit. So what vitamin mineral combinations do your brain need for the 3,000 new cells they just discovered? That shit ain't in Frosty Flakes. It's not in no fortified food, because the fortified food is laboratory certified as what you need dietarily, right? But that's based on what they discovered. They put that shit together 50 years ago, 100 years ago. When they put on the cereal, you niggas got to start thinking a different way. When they show you on the cereal, like they say, oh, Kellogg's from 1907 or whatever. Let me see when the hell this shit was made up. Let me see when these niggas start making cereal. Because I think y'all confused. Okay, 1906. Listen, so then these niggas put this shit together 120 years ago. You know how, nigga, they done discovered whole new organs, cells, cell systems, enzymes, all kind of shit. What's the combination of vitamins or minerals go on those things? That's definitely not in none of the fortified foods. But it's in the greens. Oh, yeah. It's in the beans. It's in the beans and the greens, for sure. It's in the nuts. It's in the seeds. It's in the berries. For sure, it's in those things. Yeah. Because as we discover new systems in us, we discover new nutrition inside the plants all the time. But when you're counting on somebody to take a snapshot of what they know of as your body and then say, well, each one of these systems as we know them requires this amount of this in order to work. So we're going to put this amount of vitamin A in there because based on this amount of system, this amount of cells in your body, this amount of vitamin A you need. This amount of vitamin B's you need. This amount of vitamin D's you need. So we're going to fortify the milk with this. We're going to fortify the breakfast cereal with this. We're going to fortify this with this. Now, when they come up and discover, oh, well, actually, they don't have this many types of neurons. We just discovered 3,000 brand new brain cells. Well, how are you feeding your brain? Because none of them fortified breakfasts that ain't in there. None of what them 3,000, that ain't in there. That's not in there. And even if it is, right? Even if it is, it ain't enough to go around. Right? Let's say, for instance, right? Let's just think of peanut butter and jelly, right? You could give a child the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, they'd be cool, right? That's 2 slices of bread, maybe 2 spoons of jelly, 2 spoons of peanut butter. But if you got 2 children, you need to double that amount up. 3 children, you need to triple it. 4 children, you need to triple it, assuming that the same thing will work. So if we assume that these same nutritions, these same nutritional items, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, whatever, applies across the spectrum of different types of neurons, well, since we didn't know that they all existed, we're going to need some more because there's more hungry. We thought we was feeding 4 mouths. We really feeding 100. We thought we was feeding 4. We feeding 3,000. Huh? Yeah. So I don't know. You gotta figure it out. You gotta figure it out. That's why you gotta get the books. Now, on a page 160, right? On a page 160, we go in to the kidney a lot deeper, right? We go into, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into this page 160. My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head.
Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. There we go. Good thing I have my grocery shopping list. Don't leave home without it.